Hey, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about a word that you probably hear and maybe even use all the time, cynic. But I'm willing to bet the story behind where that word comes from is nothing like what you imagine. Seriously, we're about to uncover the forgotten, kind of rebellious, and frankly, shocking origins of cynicism.
Okay, so first things first, let's make sure we're all on the same page. When we call someone a cynic today, what are we really saying?
You know the type, right? It's that person who's deeply skeptical of everything, who thinks everyone has a hidden agenda. They're a little pessimistic, always assuming the worst in people. It's definitely not a compliment. It's a label for someone who just kind of scoffs at sincerity.
Okay, but what if I told you that the very first people to be called cynics were, well, the complete opposite of that? We're talking about radicals who were on a mission to find an honest way to live, and they were willing to give up literally everything to find it. To understand this, we have to go way back. We're talking 4th century BCE Greece. And it all starts with this one guy, Diogenes of Sinope. His life story, well, it's the key to this whole thing. Now, Diogenes didn't start out as some kind of philosophical rebel, not at all. He was actually the son of a banker, living a pretty cushy, comfortable life. But as you can probably guess, that was all about to change in a big way. See, he and his father got caught up in this massive public scandal. The charge? Counterfeiting coins. You can imagine, this was a huge deal, a total disgrace that sent the entire city into an uproar. And the fallout was brutal. Diogenes was stripped of his citizenship, he lost all his money, all his possessions, he was in exile with absolutely nothing to his name. And it's right there, at rock bottom, that he makes this incredibly radical choice. He basically decided that if society's rules led to this, then he was done with society's rules. He came to believe true freedom meant rejecting everything people valued. Wealth, reputation, you name it. He chose to live with just the basics, a cloak, a staff, a bag, wandering around Greek cities and living completely outdoors.
And listen, Diogenes did not do this quietly. He would openly make fun of powerful people. He'd eat in the middle of the marketplace. He basically broke every social rule he could. His behavior was so outrageous, so shameless, that people started calling him kukyon, which is Greek for a barking dog.
But here's the twist. What was meant to be a huge insult, Diogenes completely embraced. He was like, "You're right, I am like a dog." To him, dogs were the perfect symbol for his whole philosophy. I mean, think about it. They're happy, they live in the moment, and they are totally free from abstract worries like money or what other people think of them. He and his followers became known as the Kynikoi, the dog philosophers. And there it is. That's the direct origin of our word cynic. And this next story just perfectly captures his whole attitude. The legend goes that Alexander the Great, the most powerful man in the known world, came to visit Diogenes. He walks up and offers to grant him any wish he desires. Anything at all. Diogenes, who was just like sunbathing at the time, barely looks up and just says, "Stand out of my sunshine." He literally wanted nothing that power or money could possibly give him. So this begs the question, right? How did a philosophy about radical freedom and living an honest life get so twisted that it now means bitter distrust? Well, to figure that out, we have to follow this idea on its wild 900-year journey. For nearly 1,000 years, you had people calling themselves cynics. Some groups, like the Stoics, tried to adapt the philosophy, kind of tone it down to make it more socially acceptable, which, kind of missed the whole point of Diogenes' rebellion. But by the 2nd century, a really big shift was happening, and a lot of it was thanks to critics like the satirist Lucian.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Lucian looked around at these so-called cynics of his day and basically saw a bunch of fakes. They were these materialistic, self-promoting hypocrites who just preached what Diogenes had actually lived. The practice was gone, it was all just talk. And this is the pivot point. This is where the word itself starts to change. Centuries later, during the Renaissance, writers rediscovered these old texts from Lucian, and they started using the word cynic not in the original Diogenes sense, but in Lucian's critical sense, as an insult for people who just tear others down without offering anything positive. And right there, that's the seed of our modern negative definition. But here's the cool part. Even as the word's meaning was getting warped, that original rebellious spirit of Diogenes, that spirit of questioning everything, that refused to die, You can actually see echoes of Diogenes pop up all through history. The philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau, they called him the new Diogenes because he argued that civilization and technology corrupt us. Friedrich Nietzsche totally admired the guy for rejecting abstract ideas and focusing on the real here and now. Heck, you can even draw a line to the hippies of the 1960s, who were seen as modern-day rebels going against the grain, just like Diogenes.
So what is it? What's the common thread that connects a guy living in a barrel in ancient Greece to all these hugely influential thinkers and movements centuries later?
It all boils down to this one simple, powerful idea. The true legacy of the original Cynics isn't about pessimism or distrust. It's about the powerful and, yeah, sometimes uncomfortable act of questioning convention. It's about refusing to just blindly follow the crowd and instead thinking for yourself about what's actually valuable in life.
And really, that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. The spirit of Diogenes isn't about rejecting everything just for the sake of it. It's about having the guts to look at the things we all take for granted. So it makes you wonder, what's one piece of common wisdom, one convention in your own life that might just be worth a second look?